Bonjour. In this video, we are looking at the worst English-French false friends. We will do this as a top 30 in order from the most inoffensive to the most likely to get you in actual trouble. If you're new here, my name is Angèle Preto. I am a French learning coach. I help English speakers learn French and become fluent. If you would like to study personally with me, you can find all of the information in the description below. Before we list the worst false friends that you will meet on your French learning journey, let's first look at why false friend exists in the first place, because you will see it's actually a blessing in disguise. The technical term for these words is cognate, and that includes not only false friends, but also real friends, French words that look just like English and mean the same as well. Due to the shared history of our languages, there are thousands such words. As soon as you have an English word which is a little bit long or a little bit fancy, it's very likely that you will have an exact equivalent in French. Similar spelling and similar meaning, and it makes it so much easier for you to learn French. Unfortunately, the devil is in the details, and sometimes the meaning of these words will slide over time. And sometimes it will slide into some territory where you don't want to go unwarned. Fortunately, most false friends will only earn you some harmless misunderstandings, so I have sorted them into 3 tiers. Tier number 1, you only get some harmless misunderstanding. Tier number 2 will get you some laugh, and tier number 3 are the things you really don't want to be saying unless you're sure what you're saying. So let's start right away with tier number 1, harmless misunderstanding. Number 30, exposé, just means display or present, so no one's getting exposed. If you really want to expose someone, you can use the verb révéler or the noun la révélation, which is often found in plural because it's better if you have several, right? Number 29, un délai is in French the time span that you have to do something, so basically a deadline, not a delay. A delay would be in French un retard. Fun fact, because of the influence of French speakers, people in the EU institutions have started to actually use the English word delay with the meaning of deadline. Number 28, un bénéfice. Un bénéfice in French is only a financial term. You cannot use this word if you mean a benefit that is anything other than monetary. The word that you can use for that is un avantage. Number 27, achever. Achever does not mean achieve. It actually means to complete or end something. If you mean to say achieve, you can use the verb réussir. Number 26, un car is actually a bus in French. The French word for car is une voiture. Some people will say une auto, and you will also find un char in Canadian French. Number 25, un caractère is not a character in French. The word caractère refers to someone's personality. If you mean to say a character, as for example in a novel, you will have to use the word un personnage. The main character is in French, le héros, or l'héroïne if it's a woman. Number 24, une caution has nothing to do with caution. Une caution is actually a deposit. Caution can be translated into French as la prudence. Number 23, une cave is a cellar, not a cave. The word for cave in French is une grotte. Number 22, la chance in French is slightly different than chance in English. La chance actually means luck. And if you mean to say chance or fate, you can use le destin. Number 21, engagé. Engagé in French does mean engaged, but not in the context of an upcoming wedding. You can say un artiste engagé, meaning an artist to fight for what they believe in. S'engager means to get involved in something or even to enroll in the army. And the French word for romantically engaged is actually a word that you know, it is fiancé. Number 20, attendre. Attendre is in French to wait. If you mean to say attend, you can use assister à quelque chose. Number 19, assister. Most often, assister doesn't mean to assist, it just means to attend. It means that you're there and watching something. If you mean to say assist someone, you can use the verb aider. Number 18, la monnaie. La monnaie is French for currency. We also say une pièce de monnaie, meaning a coin, so literally a piece of currency. If you mean to say money, you will have to use the word l'argent, which is the same word as silver. Number 17, quelle déception. No, you haven't been deceived, you are just disappointed. A good word for deceive is tromper, which is the word we would also use for cheating on your partner, because if you cheat on someone, you're actually deceiving them. However, you cannot use the verb tromper for cheating on a game or at an exam. That would be tricher. Number 16, la journée. Une journée is not a journey in French. That's just a word for day. It is slightly different from the regular word for day, which you might know as le jour. La journée actually means the duration of the day. If you mean to say journey in French, you can use the word le voyage or le trajet. Number 15, la librairie. Une librairie in France is actually a bookshop, not a library. A library is in French une bibliothèque. Number 14, la location. It's location, 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 except not in French. La location in French means the rental or the act of renting something. If you mean to say location, you can use le lieu or l'endroit. Number 13, passer un examen. In French, if you say passer un examen, it does not mean that you pass. It just means that you take the exam in question. If you mean to say that you pass, you have to use réussir un examen. Number 12, actuellement. Actuellement is actually French for currently. If you mean to say actually, you will have to use en fait or en réalité. Number 11, courant. Courant does not mean current in French because that would be actuel. Courant actually means common or widespread, and in some cases it can mean fluent. For example, mon anglais est courant, that means my English is fluent. And with that, let's get into our top 10 and into our second tier, which are the words that will definitely get you some laughs. Number 10, une glace. Une glace is not a glass in French. It actually means ice. You can use it for ice cream or the ice you will use for ice skating or even the ice cubes that you put in your glass, even though the better word would be un glaçon. Occasionally, we will use the word la glace, meaning a mirror, even though the word miroir also exists in French. Number 9, la râpe. The innocent French word râpe does not mean what you think it means. It's just a grater, like a cheese grater. And we also have the verb râper. You can râper du fromage, râper des carottes, whatever you can grate, you will use the verb râper in French. Now, if you were looking for that other words, we have the verb violer or the noun le viol in French for that concept. Number 8, introduire. Yes, introduire means to introduce, but not as in introducing yourself or introducing someone else. It is strictly a physical term. So, for example, introduire la clé dans un serrure means to put the key in the lock. If you mean to introduce someone or yourself, you'll have to use the verb présenter or se présenter. Number 7, blesser. Blesser does not mean to bless. In fact, quite the opposite. Blesser means to wound or harm. The word for to bless would be bénir, and that's a second group verb, so it's the same conjugation as finir. And we also have the noun la bénédiction for a blessing. Number 6, les affaires. I have so many thoughts about the fact that English speakers took this word and ran with it to make it mean something very specific. But in French, les affaires just means business. Le français des affaires is business French. If you're looking to refer to an actual affair, you can say une aventure, which is the same word as adventure. And that gives us the perfect transition to move on into our tier number ones, the words that you really don't want to say, the ones that will actually get you into some serious trouble. Well, of course, not in my class because I put very strong emphasis on creating a safe space. So if you say these kind of things in my live sessions, we probably will laugh with you, but never at you. So number 5, une exhibition. That's not just any exhibition. I found it translated as display in English, but it really is only used for the display of things that other people don't want to see, like private body parts. So if you're referring to any innocent exhibition at your local museum, please use une exposition. We also have the verb exposer for display. Throwback to number 1 on this list. Number 4, un préservatif. That definitely shouldn't be in your food. It's a condom. If you are concerned about preservatives, you can use the French word conservateur, and this is also a word that we can use in a political context to refer to people who want to make sure that nothing changes. Number 3, exciter. For my students to remember this, I tell them that there's only one thing that can excite the French, because not only do we not have a good word to translate excited into French, the cognate that we do have actually means sexually aroused, not just excited. If you mean to say excited in a non-sexual context, remember that the French are much more toned down about their emotions than English speakers tend to be. So you can just use the phrase j'ai hâte, which means I look forward. Number 2, une envie. Now, une envie in French is not the same as envy in English. I wouldn't say it's innocent either. That just depends on the context. If you just say j'ai envie d'une glace, it means you feel like an ice cream. But if you say j'ai envie de toi, not only does it not mean I envy you, it actually is a sexual proposition. So proceed with caution. If you wanted to say I envy you, the correct phrase would be je t'envie. And finally, number 1, the worst false friend that I have seen so many students stumble with is the French verb prendre. Yes, it is one of the most common French verbs, and yes, it does mean to take, except when it doesn't. If you say you want to take someone somewhere using the verb prendre in French, you haven't innocently shared your whereabouts. You have revealed too much information about your sex life. If you actually mean to share your whereabouts, you can use the verb emmener or amener. Now, if you're fed up with all the traps that French lays out for you, I recommend you watch this video to learn easy French hacks that will instantly make your French better. I'll see you there.